really excited to share with our network and friends and supporters that we are going to be collaborating with Carrie Taylor, author of One Living System, book about really coming home and remembering who we are. And I think it really is the essence of what we're trying to do to really help people connect at a deeper level with nature, with all living things, and to really remember that we are connected.
The One Living System, it's basically the philosophy of the creation of life. It's how life creates itself over and over again. It has its own ethos. It is all of the components of natural laws and universal laws. It is the living system that we can observe and we are a part of. And all of that comes through as an expression. It really desires itself. It loves to recreate itself, and it does so over and over again through nature and through us as a part of nature. Being outside of the living system, I think we really identify with that as being a space where we know we don't really belong, and yet we are attempting as hard as we can to fit into it. There's an ache to it, a command to it that is so unnatural. I guess after many, many years of doing therapy work and counselling with people, it became so obvious that their dis-ease and discomfort was partaking in this other system, from a soul level to a physical level, that was coming through as cancers or ailments through the bodies or stiff joints, arthritis, doesn't matter what it is. It's the last way we express that pain. And when we ignore that and it's not allowed to express because we have to keep playing the game, eventually it breaks us into some form of physical disease. There was always something existing outside of that I just kept peering into, and that was a much more natural space for me. It was filled with energy and capacity to heal and capacity to be calm and still, and yet this other side that required us was far more demanding. Even though there's times when absolutely we've had to fall into, that's not how life plays, this is what you have to do, and you put on the suit and off you go, or whatever. You'd come back and go, I didn't belong there. That space is really about how we unravel away from this separateness, away from this illusion of being simply an individual, and allowing ourselves to discover ourselves again as a part of nature. The moment that all of this came, it was actually really quite extraordinary. You're seeing it at the same time as trying to express it, and hearing it at the same time as trying to express it. And I remember sitting, and I was always someone who would write on walls and things anyway. And so I had literally paper and pens and everything everywhere. And I was just trying to make sense as much as I could in human language, so to speak, of what all these things were that were coming down. The beautiful thing about that process is when I actually think back to my life and the way I have lived from 19, no more alcohol and no drugs and being vegan, and that was a process of really clearing yourself as a channel to get to the point where something like this can actually come through. It flowed so naturally, it was like you were the living system. If we need right now to deeply care about how we go forward, with the deep tears of separation we all hold, we can never truly care for anything other than the pain that's in our own self. The majority of people from this deep separation space that we sit in gives a damn about anything other than, I need food on my table tonight, I need to pay my rent. I can't think of anything outside of that. People are struggling and made to believe that there's this system that's going to save them if they stay a part of it. This man-made system, it's saving itself, and it will continue to do that because that's what systems do. So the more we stay aligned with that and playing its game, we stay providing for it. And I say to people all the time, if you do nothing else this lifetime but clear up your baggage, then you are doing the world a favour. The pain, the trauma cannot continue forward. I used to always think it was wonderful to have so many people in from a counselling, again, perspective, able to understand the word enough. And that's the first step of pulling away from that want. I want more. But what I then discovered one day was I was sitting thinking that enough has edges of possibility around it. That means I could maybe have one more and reach out and bring back in. When enough turns to everything, there is nothing else to desire outside of that. The moment we realize that the living system is holding us, the more we allow ourselves to step back in and reconnect to that sacredness, we will care. And we will do something about it. And we will reach out because we recognize and it matters to us. So the living system, the importance of the living system is that glue piece that says, if you return to me, if you understand how deeply sacred you are, you're going to care for me. So my hope, in fact, I don't even like the word hope. My faith is that the one living system reaches in and allows enough people to recognize their sacredness. And it's enough of us to hold the space to turn the ship around.